Hi, everybody. This is Joy Packard. It is Wednesday morning. Beautiful here in Houston. Not sure wherever you guys are. We are coming to you with our last two speakers today. I have some, we're going out. We're going out with a, what do you call that? I don't know. Whatever you call it. We have two awesome speakers today. Both of them it's going to be Dan and another Danny today. Danny Stock later on today. We are bringing to you guys 21 amazing speakers to the Simplezonseller event coming up next weekend, Friday and Saturday, April 27th and 28th in the Houston, Sugarland area. We have, many of you have commented about how you have listened to these and you get a feel of the type of people that we are bringing on. And, I met this speaker that I'm about to introduce you guys to today. I met him in China. And as you can tell, as I've said before, the events are so crucial and so just something that would be awesome for your business because, I would have never met him, I think, and learned about what he's going to talk about if I didn't, meet up at an event. I could have been behind my computer or whatever. So, those of you who are still thinking about the event, you're saying to me, well, I don't know if I can make it. I'll get the recordings, and the recordings are awesome. And if that's the only way that you can do it, that's fine. But, there's something about being able to, be at an event and be able to be at VIP dinners, especially if you get with this guy. I was lucky enough to sit with him at a VIP speaker dinner in China, and he's just so, real, so easygoing. He's got a lovely wife and two beautiful kids. And so, these people that we are bringing to the stage are handpicked. I say it every time. They're not just people we are grabbing off the street and saying, do you want to come and speak at my live event? They're real. They give value. They are willing to serve and willing to help you. And so I wanted to introduce to you guys Dan Fernandez. He is the co-founder of the Thomason software. Those of you who have a clue of what that is, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't have a clue, you are in for a real treat. I mean, he is just awesome. He has so much knowledge, and I was just so impressed with his heart, with who he is, what he represents, what he offers. And so we're so excited that he has taken the time last minute to be with us in Houston. I mean, he came last minute. I mean, I was in China just a few weeks ago and I asked him to speak, and I'm always so humbled and honored whenever these people they come, and they don't have to come. They could be anywhere else in the world or stay home, not share what they know. So Dan, we're so happy to have you. We want people to know who you are. If you can kind of introduce yourself, of who you are, what you do, what's kind of going on, and maybe a little teaser about what you're going to speak about on stage next weekend.
Sure thing. Happy to be here. Dan Fernandez, like she said, co-founder at Thomason, and I have a little over 13 years experience in the industry now, everything from software development all the way through social media management, marketing, and in particular, the Thomason platform was built around influencer marketing. So that's really what we're heavily focused on right now, is the influencer component of social media. How do you get your product in the hands of somebody who's influential, whether it's the mom down the road or it's a big time influencer that has a ton of YouTube followers, and have them talk about your product to create some social buzz. Our platform does a lot of different things, and I really am not here to push that. What I really want to talk about, and especially in the presentation when I show up, is how do you find an influencer? What are some cool and interesting hacks that potentially you can use on Google that are free that can help you find? One of the things I'll provide is this hack that you can type into Google that can help you actually get Instagram followers, or not Instagram followers, but find actual influencers on Instagram around different niches, so that if you're a health and beauty or you're doing pet products or whatever, you can type in this piece of code into Google and actually help yourself find some targeted influencers that you're actually going to know they're willing to work with you because they are advertisers themselves. I'm going to be going over some of the actual templates, is probably the best way to put it, that you can send out to these influencers that can get their attention. as well as just some very high level strategies on what are some different types of campaigns that you can run, everything from sending them simple products to actually sending them content that you've created to help them spread the word about that. So that's kind of a little teaser about what we're going to be talking about when I show up in Houston.
Man, that's so exciting, because I know many who are here that do. I mean, I know some of them are newbies, but some who are doing private label know that, some of you have been using Facebook ads and all that's great and everything. But, as we know, I was just telling Dan this before we got on here that, the algorithms are changing. And so you have to look for different ways, to get your product out there and noticed. And whenever I had heard him speak about some of this in China, I was completely amazed, because I want you to think about, like, people who are talking about a product that, whatever they're saying. And like he was saying, if they're an influencer, I know whenever I see people like, I'll just give an example, like maybe like Cindy Crawford, talking about skincare, and she's holding up the lotion. I mean, I'm buying it, and so these influencers, this particular type of, I guess, advertising, I would say, is not talked about so much to where many people know about it. So, as we have all these different types of things and different programs that we're talking about at this event. But this is something that I'm so excited to add to the mix, because many of you have asked, what are different ways that I can get my private label, besides the old way, the Amazon way, where you and it still works to an extent, but it's, kind of iffy and kind of tricky and a little bit risky as far as that goes. But this way that Dan's talking about is awesome. And so, I think that some people may not know. I know you don't want to push it too much, but I don't mind talking about, what can Thomason do, like, for anything? Like, is it just for private label? Is it other things that we can do?
Sure. So the platform as a whole can do multiple different things. You can actually do everything from run an influencer campaign, meaning upload your product, put it in front of our database of 100,000 plus influencers. And as they see this, it kind of comes into the marketplace. They can see what products are out there. They'll come apply. And what's nice about the platform is that as they're applying, you're actually able to filter down by demographic information, male, female, etc. Different, how much reach do you want that person to have, as well as, are you willing to pay them? Are you not? So you're actually able to dial in who you want to work with, then approve them. And let's say you are paying them to do some marketing for you. We have an escrow system built into our platform where you can deposit the funds, and it sits in a neutral third-party bank account so that the influencer knows that you're good for it, and vice versa, you know that the influencer is actually going to produce. So then once the influencer does everything, you're able to review it and make sure that they did it along the guidelines that you gave them. Granted, you can't go and say, hey, make sure to say everything positive and X, Y, and Z, but because then that just sounds too robotic, and you want it to sound authentic. But you know that, hey, if you ask them to take a black and white picture and they don't take a black and white picture, you can at least come back to them and say, hey, this is what we talked about. It's almost like having a contract or a built-in system that allows you to actually manage everything with them. Beyond that, you can do a bunch of other kind of campaigns, and we're actually going to be rolling out this next week a new kind of campaign that's just built around content distribution. So even if you have some really great videos, assets, different, or social posts for that matter, that converts, but you want to get that out in front of more and more people, we're building a new type of campaign that you can actually distribute that and have people start sharing that post, sharing that video, so that if you don't want to send them a product, but you simply know that they're really in your demographic or in your niche, you can start having them actually share this kind of content really, really quickly.
That's awesome. When is that you're rolling that out when?
We're debugging it this week, and we're hoping to actually roll it out next week. So it should be available by when I'm in Houston.
Wow. That's so awesome. The timing is perfect. How long has Thomason been around? I know that I've heard about it, like when I started 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When did it roll out?
Officially, it went live about 6 years ago, and it's gone through multiple different iterations. When we first rolled it out, it was just an internal piece of software because our agency was actually, the reason Thomason was built was actually for search engine optimization. So we found that we had a lot of SEO clients that building, as maybe you do or don't know, in search engine optimization, building links is a huge component to it. And we found a great way of building links was getting your product in the hand of bloggers, mommy bloggers, whoever, and having them write an article linking back to your website. So we were actually able to rank a lot of very, very hard keywords. We were even able, pre-Amazon going really crazy, able to beat out Amazon for certain keywords by simply getting your, 200 products out into all these different bloggers and then actually having them write an article and link back to us. And we were doing that every month and just building crazy amounts of links and building all this link juice. So it was great. It worked for our agency, but it was a giant pain to do. So we built this software internally, and then lo and behold, some people were asking to use it, and then we rolled it out, and then eventually it's kind of turned into what it is now.
Wow. So it sounds pretty amazing. I mean, I don't know about you guys, like after this event, I'm so excited to implement all the things that I learned in China and actually at this actual event when you're sitting here and listening to it. So once people get their it sounds almost like, would you still recommend to do sponsored ads and, and all this kind of stuff? If we just get influencers like to push our product and such, would you say that we would still need to do the other things on top of that, or go with the influencers and see what happens with that? I mean, what do you think about that?
100%. Do everything. Mm-hmm. There's no silver bullet in marketing.
True.
You'll run into influencers that really crush it for you. You'll run into influencers that they don't get you a ton of traffic, but they make a fantastic asset for you. So we've seen a lot of things happen, in particular with influencers, where the value that the brand sees is not in the buzz that the influencer creates. It's in the video that they make or the images that they take on Instagram that builds, it's called social proof. So it builds social proof for example, your Amazon store or your Shopify site or any e-commerce platform for that matter, because you're able to see, and the psychology behind it, you're able to see that other people are using it. It's not just some random store out in no man's land. It's actually other people are buying it. They're sharing it socially. You're seeing that real affirmation that this is a product that I could see buying because this person did. So using influencer marketing is only one component to your marketing. You can use it in a lot of different facets. So it's not just, hey, build traffic. It's, build these assets, create buzz, but you should definitely combine that with all your other marketing forms, because if you just put all your eggs in one basket, more often than not, you're going to get your legs swept out from under you.
True. And that's kind of what this conference is about as well, is like offering different ways to make money on Amazon and beyond. And so along with what you're talking about as well, does this also tie in with, does it help you talked about Instagram. So is there any kind of way that is there anything in that software that deals with Instagram, or is that a totally separate thing, like as far as finding people like maybe in your niche or whatever?
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely leverage Thomason for Instagram. In fact, that's probably where we have a lot of influencers is on the Instagram platform. So what we do with Instagram is we require all the influencers to connect their social account via an API so that we know this person is actually in control of this account, that they have this many posts, that they have this much engagement, etc. All the statistics that Instagram actually allows via their API, their connection portal, to be seen. So you can go onto our platform and specifically say, hey, I'm only looking for Instagrammers or YouTubers or whatever platform that we integrate with, and say, hey, if you're on Instagram, I want to find somebody on Instagram that's in the United States that has on average, when they make a social post, they get 400 pieces of engagement. And that's essentially something like a piece of engagement is, for example, somebody liked or commented on their post, so that you know that this Instagram influencer actually has other people interacting with them and they don't just have a ton of people following them and not doing anything or listening. So that's the component of Instagram that we've really focused on. I know there's other things that have been rolling out the pipeline that Instagram is slowly starting to push. And with this whole Cambridge Analytica deal, a lot of that stuff's actually gotten put on hold from Instagram's end. But things like you can push content to Instagram from, I know there's other sites like Buffer and Hootsuite that are recently being allowed to do this. And they're slowly releasing those features to some of the big guys. And they're kind of slowly starting to roll it back to people like ourselves. But when it comes to Instagram, it's really, really focused on, you're able to find somebody, dial in their niche and their different kind of statistics, and then actually invite them or work with them, communicate with them. Something cool that we do have coming out that we're working on, and is, I guess, when you recently or previously asked, what's going on at Thomason, one of the cool things that we're really trying to work on is, and this might get a little too tech geeky, is something called machine learning, where we're actually starting to try to look at images and understand what that image actually is and assign keywords to it, so that then we can start to really focus somebody's niche. So if you search for a keyword, for example, dogs, this person posts about dogs because we actually looked and saw images of dogs this percentage of time, so that that this person truly is in your wheelhouse.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I'm just blown away listening to you. I can't wait to dig into the software and use this for my products and such. So Instagram, I mean, it sounds like it sounds like there's nothing that it can't do. It's pretty easy to learn. I mean, is it pretty easy for somebody who gets on there and says, okay, I'm going to start using this and, I mean, is it step by pretty, I guess, I don't know if is it something that people will have to, is there a big learning curve, or is it something that people can jump into?
For the most part, I mean, there's a small learning curve for sure, because you need to understand even what you want to do. Sure. It's far more of a management software for people that are either just, they're going, I want to get my product in the hands of influencers, or it's people that are already doing it and they're looking to make their life easier. It's not typically for people that are just, I know I need to market my product, I'm not really sure what to do. You need to kind of come into it knowing, hey, I do want to do influencer marketing. And then once you register and you go through the free trial, there's a simple 5-step to-do list that you can go down, watch video tutorials, and understand, creating campaigns. And one of the big things that we get asked a lot is, if I create a campaign and somebody applies, do I have to hire them? Definitely not. So one of the things that we always recommend to people is just create a campaign. It takes 2 minutes, especially if you're on Amazon. You can type in your ASIN and it'll pull in all your product info. So literally you have 6 clicks. Publish it, see who applies, and then get an understanding for what you really want, and understand maybe these aren't even the people that I'm looking for, and then you can tweak and adjust. Just like when you're doing Facebook ads or Google PPC, a lot of times it's throw it on the wall, see what sticks, and adjust from there, rather than hitting the home run straight out the gate. Sure.
Wow, I've never, incorporated influencer marketing, believe it or not, in my marketing. So I'm so excited to add it to my mix. And after hearing that, and so I have virtual assistants, many know. I'm sure people will ask how many, like, I guess you would call it logins. Like if we told you, hey, here's my 2 VAs and I want them to help me do this. Do you have to get a separate account? Or can you add so many people on there, just to let you know?
Yeah, no, you can add, we call them team members. So it's really simple. You don't have to give the VA access to your account. You just simply send them an invite. It's kind of like adding people to your Facebook page.
And it sounds kind of like a permissions page, like with Amazon. You know how you let other people do it. Is there a limit to how many people you can put in your team group?
Depending on the package, it goes, anywhere from 3 all the way up to unlimited. Or sorry, not unlimited. I think it's about 50. So, I mean, if you're a huge corporation, that's why we have, some of those levels. But really, for anybody on Amazon, you're going to have more than enough at any.
For sure. I mean, I'm thinking 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I think it would be an awesome thing to give to my virtual assistant to just, like you say, like pull in my ASINs and then go from there. Especially like I have, an Amazon account with mostly all my private label products. And so pull it up and then see who can do that. Wow. I just know how it is for me, like influencer marketing, like on myself. Like when I see someone, like it happens all the time. I'm on Facebook and then someone's talking, I'm sure I'm targeted, with women over 40, women who skincare or, health or whatever. And I'm targeted and then they're holding up this awesome thing. And yeah, I buy it because they're so good at it. So I know it works because I know I'm a living testimonial of that. So to have something in place like what you have to share and for people who are, some people who are coming to this event may not do private label right off the bat, but whatever, you can do whatever people have been talking about with their bundles and things like that, just to get your product out there and noticed. I think for me, this is going to be just a huge thing to add to, my arsenal of marketing, like you said, sponsored ads, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all these different things that we're doing. But this puts the cherry on top to push it over the edge for, getting that out there with an influencer in place. And so, and sometimes, you get lucky with getting an influencer that gets a lot of views or gets, for your product or whatever. And it may not be, I don't know. To me, it's almost like I would go for, and I think you talked about this down in China where you're like, you may get some influencers, that are like not paid, like they're not way up here to get paid so much, but they do great for your product because, they're kind of here. So, and before we try and close up here, you mentioned YouTube. It also integrates, I guess, with YouTube, right? Because sounds like
correct. Yeah, we have YouTube influencers as well. You can search for those. You can a lot of times what the people are doing with YouTube is they will. Because YouTube can become so expensive, I mean, I've seen some influencers charge $12,000 for a video.
Wow.
But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's a kid that's 12. I think he charges $15,000 to $20,000 per video.
Wow.
And he gets, huge brands, Walmart, Target, whatever, Toys R Us before they went bankrupt. But I mean, it can demand it, but it's also insane how much time it takes for them to do those videos. So if you're ever looking to get a lot of bang for your buck on YouTube, work with an influencer that's willing to do not only take your product, but maybe combine that with 5 or 6 other products into a video to offset the cost. So don't go into this thinking, I need a video only about my product. If somebody's doing one, we'll see a lot of like clothing, where the person will put together sets of clothes and they'll have a shirt from one brand, pants from another, hat from another. And that influencer is making money off each of those, but you're not paying the full price of what her time is. So, and a lot of times those kind of videos tend to get more engagement than just a one-off, because more often than not, people really aren't just, if they don't already know about your product, especially if you're private label, they're not typing in your product, just searching for it.
Sure. Yeah. Wow. That is super exciting. Well, we're closing in on the on our time here. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm not going to post it in the comments because you guys have to show up at the event. But Dan has offered our event attendees a special discount on his amazing software, and you'll only find out if you come. But it's pretty amazing. And as you hear some of the things that it can do, I'm super excited to get started with it and, to help with pushing my products through. I feel like it's just going to, I don't know. I've been so busy trying to get this event together. So after the event, I'll be able to, get my stuff together and be able to implement, especially everything that Dan talks about. I mean, I don't know if you guys realize those who are, I see people who are on here that are commenting that are coming to the event and who are thinking about it. But I don't know if you realize the caliber of people that Dan, here's Dan and all of the speakers that are coming, for you guys to have the opportunity to spend, we have great speakers on stage, but we do have the VIP dinners. And then each evening we have 3 hours of networking that you get to rub shoulders with these people and ask questions. And I don't know, it's, I'm super excited. I was just telling my husband the other day, I've been interviewing these speakers, and every time I interview somebody, I'm just like in complete admiration and awe, because they share so much and so much value that, I don't know of, honestly, I've been to many conferences, and I didn't even mean for this to happen this way, but it's just happening, and it's awesome. And that is, we have somebody in almost every way for you guys to think of to make money on Amazon and beyond. And then you get people like Dan who kind of, clinches it up and says, all right, now that you're picking these methods, here's an awesome piece of software that can help push your product to where, your sales will just go through the roof. So it's at simplezonseller.com, where it's happening literally in about 9 or 10 days from now. You don't have much more time to get your hotel, your tickets, get to meet and rub shoulders with somebody like Dan and all of the rest of the speakers. So we hope that you guys, make that decision very soon. We are almost full. And so, if you're thinking about it, I wouldn't think about it very much longer. Dan, I know you're so busy. Thank you so much for taking the time on your busy schedule and this morning to be with us and to be with us in Houston. And those who have been on here live with us, thank you for your time. I know your time is valuable as well. And those who are catching the replay, you are in for a huge treat. So we will see you guys all in Houston next weekend. Dan, thanks again. Bye, everybody. Take care.